Bree never sounded so good.
This sport is sponsored by Rapid Radio's Padres back. Start a 3-game series against the Colorado Rockies. That game will get going at 5:40. Randy Vasquez will be going for the Pods, while Antonio Senzatella will be going for the Rockies. And tonight in the NBA, the Cavs will be in Indiana for Game 3 of their series. They're currently favored by 2.5, despite losing the first 2 games. It's a major question whether Evan Mobley and Darius Garland will play. Rapid Radio is our instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com. You'll get an extra 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon.
Yoo-hoo. I'll make you famous.
The day is half over. Now it's time to enter the...
Yeah, let's get it going on a Friday. It's San Diego Sports 760. This is the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. Tons to get to on a Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. It's good that the weekend is sniffing distance away from all of us, but tons to get to. Draymond loses his mind again last night, gets a technical foul, has some strong words in the postgame press conference. We will get to them. Padres begin a 3-game series today out in Colorado, and Bill Belichick's girlfriend banned from campuses, or that was just a false report that came out earlier today. Bill Belichick's girlfriend and North Carolina got no beef with each other. We will get into it all today on a Friday, but I do think that we have to start somewhere very special, and that is with one Mr. Sammy Long, who I don't know that I've seen this side of Sammy before. I've seen Sammy in tears after a Super Bowl loss where the Kansas City Chiefs got their asses kicked by the Philadelphia Eagles this past year. I've seen Sammy crushed the day after the Lakers once again get bounced early in the postseason like they have over recent years with LeBron James at the helm. I've seen Sammy in real cranky moods where it seemed like nothing was going to brighten up his day. I have never seen Sammy Long so lost before in my life.
I was lost this morning?
You were lost. You came in here frazzled. You were like, what do I do? Oh my God, give me your phone. What do I do?
No, I wasn't frazzled. I was frustrated because
Sammy lost his phone.
I lost my phone on the way into work. I was having a good day, just normal Friday, excited for the weekend. Got to go work out in this morning. And then I'm driving and I get here and I don't have my phone. And so the problem with that is because I'm logged into all the Twitter stuff for San Diego Sports 760. I can't live tweet the show.
I actually found out that Sammy, everything is on his phone. The logins for the update reads, the Google Drive where our rundown is, everything in Sammy's life is on one little 6-inch device.
He's like, I'll send it. So for people who don't know this, I couldn't log in because I needed the Face ID for my phone. So then Fletch goes, we'll log into your Gmail. And I'm like, well, I don't know what my Gmail login. That's what Face ID is for. I don't know a single password on my phone. Bank accounts, betting sites, all this stuff.
Did you learn a lesson today?
What lesson did I learn? Marshall came to the rescue. Marshall logged in.
Yeah, Big Marshall on the mic. He hooked you up with everything. And Marshall, I think I'm fair to say, is a little bit older than you. I think I'm a little bit older than you. I think the lesson learned is be logged in at more than one place because this is easy to lose. You're not going to lose the computer that's mounted to the wall. But I did.
Is this life advice from Fletch on a Friday?
Sammy's phone didn't get lost. It saw the text he sends and then escaped. Let's be honest, your phone probably jumped into traffic just to get away from your screen time. Plot twist, your phone got tired of being used only to check to see if your ex watched your Instagram story. I like that one. I think that one's probably true. Congrats, Sammy. You just gave a stranger full access to your 37 blurry gym selfies.
Gym selfies.
Because Sammy's in the gym all the time. Don't worry,
like that.
Sammy, your phone didn't get stolen. It finally found someone who charges it above 3%. You seem like a guy who likes to live on the line.
You think I don't charge my phone?
Some people
is it good? Is it good to be always charging your phone? Isn't it good to let it die?
If your phone had Face ID, it probably locked itself out on purpose. Oh, snap, because he's ugly. Oh.
You know what the best thing about
phone.
this? You know what the best thing about this is I don't have access to the text line right now, so I have no idea what's being said about me.
R.I.P. Sammy's phone, gone too soon, but not as fast as his dignity when he tried using Find My iPhone on a toaster, because Sammy needs to have a screen.
I don't read that one again.
If your phone had Face ID, it probably locked itself out on purpose. That's the funniest one.
Oh yeah,
we're just gonna stick with that one for the rest of the time.
I'll take that one.
Now, do you have a big three today?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's a Friday.
There's lots going on in sports. You had Draymond get the T last night. I don't think he deserved it.
I got a big three.
Okay, well, let's hit the big three. Let's get right into it. Sammy, raw dog in the big three. Here we go.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends?
I mean, coworkers.
It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
And because we know literally everything in Sammy's life is on his phone, he doesn't have access to the text line today. So why don't you go light that thing up, 70470, start your message with team, and we can get crazy on there roasting Sammy on a Friday.
Yeah, they can just roast me. I can't. You don't even have the comments up here on the stream.
If you would like to watch the show on X, at Fletch and Sammy, on YouTube, at San Diego Sports 760, you find us
the
there.
name of the radio station,
Yeah,
Fletch?
that one. And leave lots of comments today because Sammy's not seeing anything. In fact, I have control of our Twitter account today, which is very fun. All right, Sammy, where are we starting with the big three?
What a day. All right, let's start with Draymond Green. He says that the NBA is out to get him. They have a, quote, agenda against Draymond Green. He got another technical last night early in the game. Do you side with Draymond Green? Do we think that there is an agenda out to get him, or is this just more Draymond Green antics?
So the exact words from Draymond were that they were trying to paint him as the angry black man. And look, it gets tricky when you have these discussions because part of that is true. And I think throughout history, you could see different stereotypes. And look, it makes sense what Draymond's saying. However, Draymond Green kind of painted himself as Draymond Green. This has been his persona since day one entering the league. And go back to his college days at Michigan State with Tom Izzo as his coach. He was this guy in college too. Draymond Green will intentionally kick people in the nuts. Draymond Green will intentionally jaw at somebody for an entire game trying to get under their skin. This is not a black or white thing. This is Draymond plays basketball like a jerk, and he does it on purpose. And he's done it for his entire career back to his college days. And guess what? It's worked out really, really well for him. So when Steve Kerr gets to the podium, this was in the regular season still, and is mad at the fans at one of the places they visited who were chanting F you Draymond on the way out. The only Draymond that the fans know is the Draymond who's on the basketball court. And that Draymond is a jerk, and he always has been, and it's worked to his advantage. The Draymond off the court, I heard Colin talk about this earlier today, is a really, really smart businessman, is a really good podcast host, is a very thoughtful, intelligent guy, and from all intents and purposes, it sounds like he's a great dad and a great husband. I'm sure Draymond Green is that guy, but the guy he plays on the basketball court is a WWE heel. So it makes sense that refs are going to have a little quicker trigger when it comes to Draymond because that's who he is.
And I heard Wendy this morning on First Take talking about how there's a narrative, and Wendy didn't say this, it was around the league that
Brian Windhorst?
Brian Windhorst. Anonymous GMs and coaches think that Draymond actually gets lenience when he gets to 5 fouls. Let's not forget in the series against Houston, he got a tech early in. I believe this was game 5. I could be wrong on that. He got a tech early in the game and then later gets a flagrant, but the flagrant allows him to stay in the game because technically it's 2 technicals that knock you out of the game, not a technical and a flagrant. So again, to that point, I'm sure Draymond's a great dude off the court. We don't know him off the court. And I'm not saying Draymond's a bad guy. He plays that role. He plays the Dennis Rodman, the Bill Laimbeer. He kind of plays that thing. But, it's a tough look when Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry, who's hurt, comes off the bench and is physically trying to restrain him the way he kind of seems to lose it when things don't go his way on the court. Now, I'm just talking about life, not talking about, we don't know him off the court. It could be, I like his podcast. He has some good points, but it definitely seems like this is a tricky narrative or a tricky situation with the NBA, but I don't know. It feels like I can't believe Steve Kerr and Steph Curry and these guys, considering that in the NBA finals where LeBron came back, I mean, if he doesn't get suspended for that game 5, does LeBron win that series? I don't know.
Draymond is the ultimate cliche when it comes to if he's on your team, you love him. If you're anyone else's fan, you hate him. And it makes sense, but I think he likes being in a position. And by the way, the Warriors don't have all the rings they have if he wasn't that guy. 2 things can be true at the same time, but I don't think you should be able to complain about something that has got you so much success. The O-Siders weighing in on YouTube saying, bro looked like an immature child last night. Be a professional and act like an adult. Part of that is Draymond shtick. And I'm sure going into that press conference last night, he was still playing Draymond.
Well, in the flailing, looking at the play, Draymond does flail to try. I mean,
I don't think he deserved a tee on this play.
I don't think he did either, but it's
a little ridiculous.
I like that he plays the heel to that effect. I like that there's kind of that edge in the NBA that he kind of plays that role. But, if you're going to play that role, unfortunately, it's probably going to come bite you on technical fouls.
Ultimately, Warriors got their asses kicked last night. The series is 1-1. It's going back to the Bay Area. We'll see when Steph comes back. Have you seen the number? It's crazy. Draymond technical fouls when Steph isn't playing
I didn't see when he was. I saw he had 7 this postseason already.
It's like there's some percentage increase, and I don't want to butcher the number. I saw it on social media earlier today, but it is a large percentage of games where Steph is not playing and Draymond is playing that he gets additional technical fouls.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
So because Steph kind of plays therapist on the court. What's next?
All right, heading also staying in the NBA. So tonight, Game 3, Indiana and Cleveland. Who would you rather have, Donovan Mitchell or Tyrese Halliburton?
Dude, Tyrese Halliburton, if you would ask me this 2 weeks ago, the answer is Donovan Mitchell, and it's not even close. But Tyrese Halliburton, I kind of love the fact that the entire world is chanting overrated at him, and he just comes back and balls out every single time. Indiana Pacers, like Sammy said a couple days ago, low key, we did not put enough respect on their name. The Indiana Pacers are a fun freaking team. So my answer is pretty easy. Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, I would go Halliburton.
I love the Spider.
I'm going Halliburton as well. And to that point, it's not a shot to Donovan Mitchell. I mean, dude had 48 points, and Max Strus and Ty Jerome are literally doing nothing to help the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's out there by himself because Garland's missed the first 2 games. Evan Mobley's missed the first 2 games. DeAndre Hunter as well. But Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, it is fun seeing the way he kind of just, when in Paris, he didn't play. He didn't really complain about it. He was just him knowing that his time's coming. And to get voted most overrated and then single-handedly come back both these games, hit the clutch shots. He was great in that Milwaukee series, and I feel like people just weren't really paying attention because they're like, Dame's hurt, and then he came back but was dealing with the blood clot. It's Tyrese Halliburton is quickly becoming one of the bright young stars in the NBA, and who knows if he goes out. I mean, if they get by Cleveland, it's Indiana Knicks. That's a hell of a series. They could be looking at going to the NBA Finals. So
that's a fun one. Next,
let's go to the Padres. Padres 3-game series in Colorado this weekend. The over/under for this game, the run line, get this, Fletch, is 11.5.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
11.5. What do you want to see from the Padres this series? Do you want to see the bats come alive? That's what Vegas is telling us.
If this isn't a sweep, it's a problem for the Padres. I don't mean like for the rest of the season, but I watched some Colorado Rockies stuff yesterday. They are so bad. Like, they are not even a baseball team bad. They are legitimately going after the White Sox record set a year ago for like the worst team in baseball history. Padres need to sweep this series. I don't care if it's at Coors Field. They are so much better than the Colorado Rockies.
Well, and the fact that the Rockies played yesterday, I believe they played a doubleheader, had to burn their entire bullpen. Coach Quintero was on yesterday talking about that, about how, I mean, if the Padres should be getting after this team. There's a reason why Vegas knows the run line usually for games is set anywhere between 7.5 and 9.5. The fact that it's 11.5, hitter-friendly ballpark. We all know this. Whenever teams play in Colorado, it is tough. But the Padres really need to take advantage of this, especially with everyone back. Arise is back. Merrill's back. You obviously got Machado and Tatis. So there's really no excuses anymore for the bats not to be alive. I think nothing short of a sweep is – they need a sweep. I don't think taking 2 or 3 is really something to celebrate, even though it's winning a series, because Colorado is so bad. But looking at the Padres' upcoming schedule, I mean, you got them, you got the Angels. This is a very winnable schedule the next couple weeks, where the Padres could build a little leeway in the NL West.
All right, I wrote a few more here. I'm going to continue to do this throughout the show when I have time. What is Sammy going to do without the ability to look at Sydney Sweeney cleavage pics on his phone? Sammy lost his phone today, and so
who said
really
that
struggling.
went in?
No, that was me. That's my own brain. What is Sammy going to do without being able to check his Tinder profile?
that one that's what we do during the breaks.
What is Sammy going to do without being able to check the location of all his friends on Snapchat? Oh my God, where is Joey?
No, we're not 15-year-old girls.
Where's Patrick?
Patrick and Joey. What is this, a 90s sitcom?
Oh no, Patrick as in Mahomes, you jerk. All right, coming up on the Fletch Zone on San Diego Sports 760, Bill Belichick all of a sudden has been doing the most un-Belichickian things of his life. We're going to talk about it and break it down coming up next. You're listening to San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Give Gary a call today, 858-376-1299. And here to tell you why is Gary Cooper. Gary, I remember in the meeting that my wife and I had with you, you talked about no point, no cost loans, and it's just not something you see anywhere else. What makes you so distinct that you can offer no points, no cost loans?
Well, the fact is I don't, because they really don't exist. They never have, and they never will. The shell game to that is when we sell you, and I'm careful on how I say it, when we sell you a higher rate above the par or the market rate, any rate above that par rate is additional compensation that we can earn for selling you a higher interest rate. So that's how we can make the closing costs whatever you want them to be. Think of it this way. Can you imagine going to the county recorder's office and asking them to record your deed of trust for free, or that the title company is going to give a free title policy and escrow is going to do all that work for free? Nobody works for free, so let's just get that out of the way. In all sincerity, the way it works is just you're being sold a higher rate, and that's why fees, when you get good faith estimates, that's why the fees will vary from one company to another, and why the rates differ. Because it's a shell game, and that's what I pride myself in eliminating. You'll see the true and actual third-party cost. We have no junk fees, but you'll see the actual cost, and you're going to get the lowest rate that I can provide you.
Gary Cooper, Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty, giving it to you straight, 858-376-1299. Talk to Gary on the phone and find out why he is the most trusted realtor mortgage expert that I've ever encountered in my life. My wife and I have been hunting for houses for a couple years here. Call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299, and he will talk you through the mirrors, the shell games, the smoke and mirrors that other companies will play, and tell you why Gary Cooper can earn your business today. 858-376-1299. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. SDFC back on the pitch tomorrow night. They got St. Louis SC on the road. You can hear the match live tomorrow night starting at 5 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. In fact, coming up in 10 minutes, Tom Penn, the CEO of SDFC, is going to jump on with us. We'll talk a little bit about that match, talk about next Wednesday's match, a weeknight in San Diego, and talk about a new partnership that SDFC has unveiled. Can't wait to talk with Tom Penn coming up in just a little bit. But first, we cannot go any further in the show today without mentioning today would have been Tony Gwynn's birthday. And Tony Gwynn, who, yes, Mr. Padre through and through. We know all the stats. Struck out only 434 times in 20 years. Faced Greg Maddux 107 times. Struck out 3 times in his entire career. Also the assist leader all time at San Diego State for basketball. Tony Gwynn is one of a kind, man. And his commitment to this town can probably never be matched. And appreciate you, Mr. Padre. Hopefully you're looking down on us fondly today, as the Padres are playing some good baseball this year. And he cared about the Padres more than just about anything. So Tony Gwynn, rest in peace. Happy birthday, Mr. Padre. And hopefully you're looking down with a smile these days.
Yes, sir. Well said.
Dude is the GOAT. Absolutely. All right. Before we move on too much further in the show today, we mentioned Tom Penn is going to be jumping on in just a little bit. But how about Sammy Long losing his phone today? He's been a little disheveled all day long. he can't really function without a phone, I don't think. Is that when's the last time you didn't have your phone for more than like 20 minutes?
Well, I actually pride myself on I put my phone away. My friends actually have gotten mad at me before because they've hit me up to do things. And I don't like always having my phone next to me because then I'll grab it and be scrolling on Instagram and looking at stupid stuff that's irrelevant.
Sydney Sweeney cleavage.
I wouldn't categorize that as stupid stuff. I think that would be positive research.
Gift from God, really.
No, we're good today. We're Marshall, big help. So we got X up and running. We reposted the stream, so all is right in the world.
And if you want to find that stream, find it at Fletch and Sammy on X, at San Diego Sports 760 on YouTube. All right, Bill Belichick. So news came down at 6:00 this morning. We were talking about it.
Research.
We were talking about it over on the KGB morning show, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, but that Bill Belichick's girlfriend, her name is Jordan Hudson. She's 24 years old. I believe she's also his PR manager, had been banned from the University of North Carolina's campus, which is where Bill Belichick is the head coach. Now, this report wasn't just a Twitter account with no name attached to it. This was on Yahoo Sports. It was on Bleacher Report. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, a lawyer, had this story up on his website. So this was everywhere this morning. And then the University of North Carolina around 9:00 this morning put out a statement saying, no, Miss Hudson is not an employee of the University of North Carolina. She is more than welcome on campus. We would never, ever, ever say
she's
anything
welcome
like
on
this.
Campus because she could be going to school there to get her master's degree.
Come on, that was cheap, Sammy, and you know it.
I think though, in all seriousness, why they don't want her there is because they're confused. That is it the star quarterback's girlfriend or is it Belichick's girlfriend?
North Carolina said they want her on campus. That this was a totally fabricated story, Sammy.
Maybe she can join the cheer team.
Look, the cheap jokes aside, this is the most polar opposite of anything Bill Belichick has done throughout his entire career. What's been going on over the last few months with Jordan Hudson? And I don't really blame her. She's kind of acting like a public relations manager who is their whole job is to put their client in the best point of life or best point of view to the public that you can possibly be. Now, it's backfired quite a bit with Jordan Hudson, and I think a lot of that stems from the fact that they're dating. If they weren't dating, this would not be a problem, which is the old phrase about don't blah, 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 where you eat is maybe pretty prevalent in Bill Belichick's mind these days. But I think the point is, like, Bill Belichick has come so far from the we're moving on to Cincinnati guy, the guy that was grumbling and mumbling, the guy that was 100% football and the Patriot way, to whatever this is now, where he was smiling on ESPN a lot, where he was doing the NFL Network top 100 players of all time show, which I thought was fantastic. And I thought Bill was actually pretty great as a media personality. But he tries to get back into coaching at the same time as juggling a relationship with a 24-year-old who, like Sammy, probably can't spend more than 20 seconds around not her phone and not lose her mind. And this is just a bad look for Bill Belichick, who was available for NFL teams to hire a year ago, and nobody bit.
Well, in all seriousness, jokes aside, you have Julian Edelman was on Colin earlier this week talking about how one thing they always used to preach was no distractions.
This is the biggest distraction.
It's hard enough to win football games in the National Football League and go win a Super Bowl as it is, let alone when you have, I mean, that's what really the Patriot way kind of was at heart, was that these teams that you didn't ever hear many stories come out. You heard them after when Brady left to go to Tampa, then you heard about the rift. I mean, it's kind of amazing that we didn't know that Belichick and Brady never had dinner all those years. And Kraft and Belichick's relationship was completely fractured. It was we saw some splintering of it when the whole Garoppolo situation came available. But yeah, I mean, Bill, do your thing. But what does he want? Like, does he want to be a college football coach? Does he want it?
I don't think so. I think he wants back in the NFL.
He left a buyout this summer where technically he can buy out his entire contract or something like that. And
whatever
go to the
NFL team would hire him could buy out his contract,
right?
For
but
like $1 million.
Who's hiring this in the NFL?
You're not, is the short answer. So Rich kind of said it this morning, and I asked him, I was like, when he was your head coach, could you imagine any of this happening? He said no. And Bill Belichick wasn't married at the time either. He had a girlfriend when I was playing for him, and everything was completely 100% separate. And now everything is completely 100% non-separate. Everything is in the same pot of a terrible tasting stew that Bill Belichick is seemingly stirring from behind the scenes. And this is a bad look, man. Can you imagine the Dallas Cowboys? Actually, the Dallas Cowboys would be the one team who I think would just welcome this into the chaos. But
how old's Jerry's girlfriend?
A serious NFL team, I don't see ever happening. So maybe this is the beginning of the end of the relationship. Maybe this is the beginning of the end of his time as the North Carolina football coach. I don't know, but nothing good is coming of this. All right, on San Diego Sports 760, we are the home for SDFC here in San Diego. We air all their games. Adrian Garcia Marquez, one of the greatest play-by-play voices in the country, calls them all. You're going to hear SDFC tomorrow night taking on St. Louis SC on the road. But coming up next on San Diego Sports 760, you're going to hear from the CEO, the head man, Tom Penn, going to be joining the show coming up next live on the free iHeartRadio app, San Diego Sports 760.
This sport is sponsored by the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag. The Padres back in action tonight in Colorado, taking on the Rockies, who bring in a record of 6-31, 4-14 at home. Padres currently favored by -165. That game will be going at 540 with Randy Vasquez going for the Padres. And tonight, Cavs, Pacers, Game 3. Indiana, the heroics of Tyrese Halliburton in Game 2. They'll be looking to extend the series and take a 3-0 series lead. We'll see if Donovan Mitchell and his 48 points in Game 2 can stop that. This report is sponsored by Wendy's.
San Diego Sports 760. It's the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. And we got 13 chances for you to win $1,000 every single weekday with the bonus bucks giveaway every hour from 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to get one of those keywords coming up at 1 o'clock today. All right, we've had a lot of fun over the last couple days, or over the last hour or so, talking about Sammy losing his phone. I did write a couple more jokes. This one's pretty good. Sammy's phone didn't get stolen. It finally reached its breaking point after hearing his 3-hour motivational shower playlist. that comes from the 619. 619, beautiful. Well done. 70470. Start your message with team. If you got any roast jokes for Sammy, who's 22 years old and lost his phone, we would love to hear them. But right now, we kind of step aside from all that, and we get to our first guest of the show. His name is Tom Penn. He is the CEO of SDFC. He's been on the show a couple times. Tom, welcome back, man. Thank you for being here today.
My pleasure. How you guys doing?
We are doing really, really good. It's San Diego. It's tough to be bad over here, especially when you got a fun baseball team, a fun soccer team going and winning. Things are good, especially after that win over Dallas last week. Kicked them all the way back to Tejas 5-0. Like that.
Take that, Dallas.
That was a good one.
No, yeah, we had a good result. It varies week to week. We're excited to go to St. Louis this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So, Tom, saw on social media yesterday and got a little email that you guys just announcing a brand new partnership here with Liberty Military Housing. And there's going to be a special game coming up kind of honoring that partnership. But you want to tell us a little bit about what went into this partnership between SDFC and Liberty Military Housing?
Well, it's so cool, right? I mean, the military is just so ingrained in the fabric of San Diego. And we want to be San Diego's team. We're doing a lot of different engagement, and Liberty Military Housing is just this really cool company that provides such a service related to housing and across really all branches and such a relevance in San Diego. It was just a really cool thing that you don't find in most markets, and it's another example of what makes San Diego unique.
It is awesome. Yeah, some of my best friends are Navy guys. We hang out in Coronado all the time, and I sent this over to my buddy, and he said it's awesome when you see local companies or local organizations like SDFC getting involved in recognizing the military. So coming up, I believe June 5th, I think I have that right, you're having the Hero of the Match night out at Snapdragon Stadium, the Stars and Stripes night, July 5th, excuse me. It's going to be a special match celebrating the nation, honoring those who served to protect it. What's going to go into that on July 5th down at Snapdragon?
Yeah, wow. July 5th, right after 4th of July, we're going to have obviously a patriotic night. We just had Military Appreciation Night in our last home match, which was awesome. We had the Brigadier General from the Marines be our honorary keeper of the flow, and we were able to recognize a number of those that serve, and really every game. We have got so many members active and retired of the military that attend our matches. You guys know it's just really, really an important part of San Diego, and it's the least we can do with all that they do to serve our country and protect all these freedoms that we so enjoy.
Tom, that's fantastic. Looking on the field, I saw the latest power rankings. SDFC was all the way up to like 9. What do you think is realistic expectations for this season's team? Are they overperforming? Do you think it's playoffs? Do you think it's winning the whole thing, or what?
Our goal is to make the playoffs in year one as an expansion team. When you look at the Western Conference, Vancouver is flying. They're sort of way ahead of everybody at this time of year. And then the rest of us are bunched tightly together. May is interesting because we get into these midweek matches starting this week. On Wednesday night, we host a match and then a host again on Saturday. So we have 3 games in 8 days, as do the other teams in the West. And you're going to hopefully start seeing some separation as teams either get hot or cold or, start piling up points. We're a third of the way through the regular season, and we're right in the middle of it, which is great. We feel like we have quality and talent at all positions, and we're sustainable. We've got our designated players, our best players are in the prime of their career, and we're playing a lot of youth. We play Luca Bambino as a fullback, and he is 18 years old. We're playing Willie at the other fullback. He's 21. So, you've got this youth out there on the pitch that makes us sustainable. It's part of our identity. But for this year, I think if we make the playoffs, and, once you get in, anything can happen. It depends on how hot you are in the fall. It's a long, long season, but we're happy to be right in the middle of it, a third of the way through.
What you said right there with the starting the 2 games per week, do you think we'll start seeing some more reserves? How does it change kind of with the 2 games a week, or is it just kind of the way it is?
Yeah, well, it's not 2 games a week all the time. We've got these Wednesday matches, but they start coming now. And what you see is that's where depth comes into play, where you try to rotate some of your players. So you don't play just your starting 11 for 90 or 60 minutes. There might be times where a veteran gets a match off, on the midweek game. This is really up to the coach to figure out who are the best matchups, and it gets a little trickier, and you go deeper by definition into your bench. We've already shown some nice depth because Chucky got hurt in our first home match, and we got those results with our best player, out and then working his way back from injury. Our striker, Marcus Ingvarsson, has been out, for several weeks with a quad strain or quad tear. So you've got all these issues that have already occurred, and we've shown at least the ability to persevere through those. Teams will face similar challenges as the schedule gets more dense.
Tom Penn, CEO of SDFC, joining us today on San Diego Sports 760. Always happy to have you, Tom. When you look at a guy like Anders Dreyer, and obviously in San Diego, he was a little bit of an unknown before he got here in the first match, scores the first goal, really wins that first game up in LA for you guys. And did you know, as a CEO, as somebody who's been around NBA locker rooms, that he was going to become a fan favorite based on his personality, or is that just kind of how the season went?
We knew he was really talented. I rely on my football experts, and they were really bullish on him, thinking that he's always traveled well. He's been to multiple leagues in multiple countries, and everywhere he goes, he sets a mark, right? He does well and performs, and that doesn't happen with a lot of players. Sometimes you get a player first time traveling out of their home country and you don't know what you're going to get. So in our case with Anders, that combined with his age and his complementary nature to the way we want to play. He's an attacking player. He's confident. He can take the ball early and ignite an attack, and he showed quickly how he can finish and kind of everything in between. What we really look for is the combination of him and Chucky together, because they're both similar skills. They're excellent playmakers. They're both lightning quick, and they're savvy, so they can find each other in the attack. And you saw that against Dallas with those combination plays that were just beautiful to watch.
With the boys out in St. Louis this week, what's one thing that we should be looking forward in this match that might determine if SDFC wins or not?
Can we score early? St. Louis is so defensive minded. They don't score many goals. You remember them in opening night. They were our first home match, and we had a 0-0 draw, and we had total control of the game and the ball. We just didn't get it in the goal. I mean, if we can get an early goal, that'll help us a ton towards getting the result that we want. Every match on the road is a different animal, and we'll see how our guys play. We feel good about the form we're in right now. It'd be nice to get another result on the road, and then we're home for 2 in a row, Wednesday and Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. Would love for people to come out and experience it live. Both matches 7:30. And should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, tomorrow night's game or match you could hear right here on San Diego Sports 760 beginning at 5 o'clock. Adrian Garcia Marquez doing excellent work, as well as Darren Smith. Sammy and I went to the match where Chucky Lozano scored his first goal. And Tom, I think you were on the show like maybe the day before, and you told us, once you experience it once, you'll never forget it. And it really is incredible. So if you haven't been out to Snapdragon Stadium for a match yet, SanDiegoFC.com is where you buy tickets. Highly, highly recommend it. You want to be there when the entire crowd starts chanting, "Oh, Chucky Lozano." Awesome moment that I will never forget. Tom, before we get you out of here, our guy Sammy Long is 22 years old. And I'm not sure if you have kids or not, but Sammy lost his phone today coming into work. Doesn't know where it is. And when I tell you he is completely lost, what would you be for 20, 30 minutes without your phone, Tom, as a CEO of a high-powered MLS team, powerhouse in the world of business? Tom, if you didn't have your phone for an hour, where would you be?
Right where Sammy is. Holy moly.
Thank you, Tom. That's what I've been saying.
What's he going to do? I do know one number. I know 2 numbers. I know my wife's number, and I know my mom's number. I think other than that, I honestly don't know my kids' numbers, and I have 2 kids that are in their 20s. So yeah, I don't know what the heck I'd do. I hope it doesn't happen. Let's
Sammy
give
does
Sammy
have
some help.
5 computers in front of him.
I'm
right
finding
now.
out that I wouldn't really survive too well if I was dropped out in the wild.
No. Good luck to you. Good luck to you.
Tom, appreciate you. Appreciate the relationship with the station, man. It's always great having you on. And make sure you keep an eye out for anything coming with Liberty Military Housing and SDFC. Brand new partnership announced tomorrow. Let's go SDFC tomorrow. Kick some ass in St. Louis. Appreciate your time as always, Tom.
Let's go. Take care, guys.
All right, there he goes, Tom Penn, the CEO of SDFC. Appreciate him coming on as always. And yeah, tomorrow night, 5:00 right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. You will hear them taking on St. Louis SC, which, Sammy, you remember that first game back at Snapdragon Stadium, all the indicators, shots on goal, shots not on goal, but all shots taken. San Diego had every advantage in that game, but the score was 0-0. 0-0.
Wasn't it like it was like 16-2 or something
16
like that?
16-3 maybe, but yeah, it was right in there. So hopefully SDFC gets on the road tomorrow, scores early, and brings home a win to San Diego. And then next Wednesday, their first Wednesday night game at Snapdragon Stadium. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Coming up next here on San Diego Sports 760. Last night was an all-time low. We'll call those an ATL. See if we can remedy that with long shots.
I think ATL's Atlanta.
No, ATL all-time low. It's a band, dude. It's a band from like the early 2000s. But it is also Atlanta. You never heard All-Time Low?
I know ATLians by Outkast.
That's a pretty good one. They have that Creed remix out now that's popping off.
Yeah, I did see that.
But no, ATL, All-Time Low was a band. They had Dear Maria, Count Me In. Punky.
Okay, I'll check them out. Yeah, we long shots did not come through. It was we'll take our lumps. It was a rough night. We had a winner 2 nights ago. Last night was brutal. I mean, I don't even know what to say. The way the game played out, Anthony Edwards got hurt during the middle of the game.
Hashtag Fade Sammy would have worked nicely last night.
Not hashtag Fade Sammy.
Hashtag Fade Sammy.
Hashtag have trust that Sammy's going to take care of you. Santa's coming to deliver some gifts for the weekend.
Santa's coming. Oh, I can't wait for this. Well, coming up next on the Fletch Zone, it's Long Shots with Sammy Long on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Dude, this is too funny. Today is a funny Friday. Thank you for being here at San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you until 2 o'clock. We thank God Big Marsh is here, man. Sammy would be toast if Marshall wasn't here.
Yeah, Marshall has everything on lockdown.
So
Marshall would be off the air if Marshall was not here right now.
We're going to give Sammy a couple minutes here because Sammy realized about 10 seconds before we came on the air that he cannot do long shots because he does not have his phone. And so now Sammy has my phone in the production studio, and he's going to make long shots happen on the free Prize Picks app. By the way, download it. Use promo code Fletch. You're going to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. This could be your first $5 entry. So, Sammy, you take a couple seconds there. A text from the 760. JDM versus Muhammad this weekend. Who you got? I think JDM gets 4th or 5th round KO finish. You like that?
I like that. Yeah, this weekend's card is really just kind of headlined by the main event. I'm excited. I can't wait. It's kind of the first one before Sean O'Malley and Marab next month. But I like that. I like the finish late 4th, 5th round, especially if you parlay that and you get the 4th, 5th round combo finish.
We got some good fights this weekend. Daniel Santos is fighting. Brad Katana.
I'm going to the Navarrete fight tomorrow night at Pachanga.
Oh, you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, sir. It's Navarrete fighting. He's a really fun fighter. He's fought Oscar Valdez, an absolute classic in boxing. It's going to be at Pachanga. Murataya's on the card as well. So happening in San Diego tomorrow. I've never been to a fight before. It's the only sporting event I've never been to.
And I'm sure you're only going for the fight, right? You're not going to play any slots or any blackjack or anything like that?
Well, the night's young.
The night's young. We'll see how the fight goes.
It depends if we win the bets on the fight.
Sure. If you were a phone and had to listen to your group chat voice notes, I would leave too. Your phone dipped the second it saw your recent photos folder. Some things can't be unseen. Maybe your phone got sick of you asking Siri stupid questions like, is it cheating if it's on vacation? Sammy lost his phone earlier today, so I've just been writing jokes every time I get a second here. Honestly, your phone probably threw itself into a sewer just to avoid one more 3 a.m. you up text.
You wrote all these?
I mean, ChatGPT's helped a little bit.
Oh, I was about to say, I'm like, Fletch is not smart enough to be writing this many jokes back.
At this point, your phone isn't lost. It's in witness protection.
ChatGPT has this much dirt on me.
Sammy didn't lose his phone. His phone saw his screen time and said, I'd rather die than refresh Instagram one more time.
I feel that with Instagram. Instagram's a little bit of a time suck.
You got long shots for us?
See, you're confusing me. I'm trying to get a parlay together. You're taking shots at me. Like I'm doing too many things right now. Look at this.
You calling your phone missing is cute. It's called abandonment, Sammy. Let's not play the victim.
Abandonment.
All right. Every single day at this time, Sammy puts together a daily fantasy sports lineup. And because he's been missing his phone, we haven't really been able to laugh at the fact that last night, Sammy's lineup went 0 for 4. Brandon Podziemski ended up with less than 13 points. Anthony Edwards ended up with less than 40.5 rebounds, points, and assists. Connor McDavid only had 3 shots on goal. He needed 3.5. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto got knocked out after the 5th inning of the Dodgers game last night. So Sammy with a cool 0 for 4 on yesterday's picks. We'll see if we can turn it around today. Sammy, hit the button.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, got it. It's time for Sammy's long shots.
If you go 0 for 4 2 days in a row, we're going to have to start calling you Eric Hosmer.
Everyone, San Diego's favorite. First off, you haven't done anything over there gambling, so I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you mean, bro?
You've been losing money left and right, adding your own parlays. See, Fletch doesn't tell you guys, but he does his own parlays that he doesn't tell everyone, and then we'll come in and brag about it like we care if he wins money or loses money.
Remind me all the time that this is called long shots, not Fletch shots.
Exactly.
So this is the only one that anyone's responsible for. We need
gambling to become legal so then I can just do straight money line.
That would be nice. All right, Sammy, where are we starting?
We're starting in the NBA.
Okay.
You know we are. All right, we're going to do Donovan Mitchell tonight, 28.5 points. We're going more than.
Whoa!
He's the only guy on the team. I'm not kidding. He is the only guard that is competent right now. Max Strus, there's an APB out on him.
That's a big number.
Ty Jerome, 2 point. Well, he had 48 two nights ago, so I think he can hit it. And this is he hit 29 in game 1 with going 1 of 11 from 3. Ty Jerome.
He had 33 in game 1.
Not exist to 33. Ty Jerome, non-existent. Max Strus, non-existent. We all kind of got suckered in the first round thinking Ty Jerome was going to be a big player. The only way this doesn't hit is if Darius Garland comes back, but even if Donovan Mitchell is going to have a big night, I think 20.5 points are going more than.
Okay, next.
Stay in the same game tonight. Ben Matherin. This is one of my favorite players to watch. I love watching Ben Matherin play. He's fantastic. I don't think he gets enough love. I think he'll be going somewhere in the offseason because Indiana doesn't. The amount of guards that they have with Halliburton becoming a superstar, Aaron Nesmith's been very good. He comes off the bench, and this is why this team is pretty lethal because 1 through 10, the Pacers are really good. 10.5 points for going more than for Matherin. He's hit this in each of the last times we've done long shots. I think at home, the crowd's going to get rocking. This is where a big advantage is for the Pacers, is that because of all the injuries of Mobley, Hunter, and Garland out, they don't really have the depth at the guard spot. I think I'm taking Matherin over Ty Jerome and Max Strus. I don't think they're going to be able to guard him.
Benedict Matherin.
More than 10.5 points. And then Jason Tatum, 27.5 points in the Garden. I'm going more than. Jason Tatum has kind of an interesting conversation here that we get into later. It's funny how Jason Tatum takes all the criticism for the Celtics. Jaylen Brown's a great player. He won the Finals MVP last year, but Jason Tatum, maybe it's just because of the fact that he went to the Olympics and Jaylen Brown was kind of left off the team, but the Celtics struggle, and Jason Tatum was a big factor of that, but it kind of feels like Jaylen Brown evades all criticism, and Jason Tatum's the only guy that gets the hate. I think Jason Tatum has a big performance in the Garden, 27.5 points. He's going to need to take over. A lot of questions about, can he be the face of the NBA? Is he just a good player? I think Tatum demands the ball, especially after going 2 of 11 in the third quarter, him and Brown combined in game 2. I think he has a big night, 27.5 more than.
Our buddy Rich on YouTube said, hey guys, yesterday, if you played everything opposite of Sammy, you won.
If you think about it like that.
Hashtag Fade Sam.
Fade Sammy?
Yeah.
We don't need to get that trending.
All right, so is that 3? Are we done?
We're done.
A little 3 picker today.
Yeah, I don't have my phone. We're working with I'm on Marshall's phone right now. It
is a Flex Friday.
It's a Flex Friday. Throw it in.
That's a
Donovan Mitchell's going to have a big night. We know Matherin's going to come off the bench and probably get you 20. Jason Tatum. This is a big game for Jason Tatum's legacy. This is not hyper. It is. Jason, if you go down 3-0 at the Garden, they're not coming back. I don't hear about the Miami thing. Miami, the Knicks are a better team than that Miami team was. All right. So
wait, a second round of the postseason the year after you win an NBA championship.
1,000,000%.
The third game of the second round is a big game for his legacy.
100%. This is a legacy game. This is Jason Tatum. We keep talking about who's the next face of the NBA. Is it Anthony Edwards? Is it Luka Doncic? Is it Jason Tatum? Is Tyrese Halliburton making a case for the kind of young crop of guys to be this? Jason Tatum has the title. Luka Doncic doesn't have a title. He got there. Edwards hasn't even gotten to the finals. But Tatum gets a lot of hate. And if you everything you won last year goes a little bit out the window if you lose to this Knicks team in the second round.
760 sent an interesting text in, and we will get to it coming up in hour number 2. Draymond shouldn't have been given the second technical yesterday, berating the refs after his first, or should have been given a second technical yesterday, berating the refs after his first. No other players in the NBA would be given that leeway.
That's a good point.
I do have an argument to that one, and I'm not wholeheartedly disagreeing. Like, the technical was probably more deserved for the reaction than the actual crime itself. Let's get into it coming up in hour number 2. You're listening to San Diego Sports 760 on the free iHeartRadio app. But first, Sammy Long just gave you a lineup. That lineup is good on a very specific app that you can download onto your iPhone or on your whatever other phone there is. But the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, they both have it. Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks today. Use promo code Fletch. And you want to do it today because today is a Flex Friday, meaning you head over to your promos tab, you opt into a Flex Friday, you get a free $20 lineup. So even if you lose, that $20 is coming back to you in promo funds. I like to get a little risky on a Flex Friday. I really do. Download the app today. Use promo code Fletch. Join the tens of millions of people who have already been playing Prize Picks and start adding to your wallet the billions of dollars that have been awarded so far in winnings. Prize Picks is my favorite daily fantasy app I've ever had, and I've tried them all. Prize Picks is the country's favorite daily fantasy sports app. That's in the numbers. Download Prize Picks today. Use promo code Fletch. Get that $50 bonus and start creating entries. 2 to 6 players. You pick their stat projections, more than or less than, on everyday things like points, rebounds, assists, or in baseball, hits, runs, RBIs. Prize Picks has something for everyone. Download the app today. Use promo code Fletch. Get that $50 bonus and start running your game all season long on Prize Picks. Hour 2 coming up next.
This sport is sponsored by Rapid Radios. The Padres back in action tonight at 5:40 against the Colorado Rockies, who bring in a record of 6-31. Padres are currently favored to win at -165, and the run line is set at 11.5. Randy Vasquez will be going for the Pods in tomorrow. Game 3 between the Celtics and the Knicks will get going at the Garden at 12:30 on the West Coast. We'll see if the Knicks can take a 3-0 lead. This report has been sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Yeah, it's hour number 2 here on a Friday. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. We got a real treat coming up for you today at 1:30 as Steve Hartman joins the show. I'm sure Steve has lots of thoughts on what's going down in the NBA postseason as of right now. If you missed it earlier, Tom Penn was really great with us. SDFC CEO Tom Penn, the head honcho. He was on talking about a new partnership SDFC has with Liberty Military Housing and giving a little preview for SDFC's matchup tomorrow against St. Louis SC. You can hear it right here on 760 beginning at 5 o'clock. But if you missed Tom Penn, find it on the podcast a little bit later on. All right, text line has blown up, and we haven't really seen a whole lot of it. 619 says Jason Tatum can't be the face of the NBA, Sammy. He's missing like 3/4 of his bleep stash beard. Yes, he is. Jason Tatum's facial hair, not great. 619, Jonas Knox gave you guys some love on the national show after you guys had him on. Bring him back to play pro wrestler or porn star. I didn't know Jonas gave us a little bit of love.
Jonas gave us some love?
I love that.
Dude, Jonas Knox is the man. He's a fantastic guest.
Dude is a killer. Also, I don't know if anyone's seen Jonas Knox in person. Maybe the most handsome man in all of radio, which attracts just me-looking people.
My man's got a jawline.
Jonas probably would have been better cast in the new Superman than the new Superman is.
He does look like Henry Cavill.
He's got a little Henry Cavill to him.
He's an American Henry Cavill.
Jonas Knox is the man. We'll have him on next week. Thank you for pointing that out. 619. Different number texting in. Sammy, I realize you're all shook up because you lost your phone, but no mention of SGA as the face of the league, and OKC is probably going to win the championship. What gives, bro?
Well, no, hold on.
I think you're low-key disrespecting SGA.
No. No one's SGA is a bad man. SGA is a bad man. First off, next segment, we're going to get into something. We're going to debate how many ones. Text line jumping on this too. 70470 start message with team. 70470 start message with team. How many ones are there in the NBA? I heard Colin talking with Paul Pierce this morning about this. What defines a number one? Is it being the best player on your team? Is it a player that can get to a championship? Like, how many do we have? Colin said there's 20. Paul Pierce said there's 6. We can get in this in the next segment so we have a little bit more time.
My number is going to fall right in between those two, I think. There's more than 6. There's less.
I'm going
to
read off a list, and we're going to debate because you and I were talking about this, and I think there's some. It's interesting versus talent versus being a number one.
That's a great point. Yeah. We'll kind of flush this out a little bit. That's in 10 minutes. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. We're going to get to the big 3 in just a couple minutes. We also have a giveaway for you today. We got a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival coming up on May 15th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Hang on for the next 7 minutes, and you're going to get those tickets. If you want to buy tickets, Ticketmaster.com. But before we get there, Padres are finishing up this 9-game road trip in Colorado against the Rockies. First game of that series is today. I don't often say must sweep, and I think a must sweep on May 9th is one of the silliest things to say. You must sweep the Colorado Rockies, and I don't care if it is in Denver. I know the history of the Padres struggling against bad Rockies teams in Colorado. I get that, and there have been some bad Colorado Rockies teams. This might be the worst. So Padres, who consider themselves rightfully so as one of the better teams in baseball here in 2025, they have the record to back it up. They have the superstars to back it up. Please just go in there and beat the crap out of the Rockies. Like, don't give them any room for breathing because the Rockies are so bad. Have they won 7 games yet? Did they win one of the doubleheaders yesterday?
No, they're 6-31.
6-31. 6-31.
Right. So I heard some people going, just win the series. I get it. NL West opponents, they need to sweep. This is not a series that you look at winning 2 games and go, that's successful.
If we can look back on the year in September when everyone's starting to tussle for playoff positioning, I guess that really happens a little before September. But when August comes around and we're talking about, the Padres need to win this many games to be comfortable in the postseason. Do not let one of the losses be against the Colorado Rockies, please.
Well, and you're looking at, so look at the NOS. So the Dodgers playing the Diamondbacks in a 4-game set. The Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers last night. And then we're looking, so Diamondbacks 5 games back of first. Giants and Padres tied for second and third. Padres have the edge because the tiebreaker. And then the Dodgers are 1 game up. It's interesting who you're rooting for in this like 4-game set, because part of you, if the Dodgers win the next 3 games, could really bury the Diamondbacks and give you some leeway. Obviously, if your sight's set on winning the NOS, it's better if the Dodgers lose. But this is a real opportunity to take advantage. They're playing each other. I'm assuming the Dodgers are going to win some games this weekend. I don't think the Dodgers are getting swept on a 4-game sweep. And this is a real opportunity early in the season for the Padres to make up a little ground, beating a Rocky team that you should do, taking into an Angel series that you should win there. The Padres' upcoming schedule is very manageable the rest of the month. It opens up June pretty brutal with, I believe, the Diamondbacks and then the Dodgers early on. But this is this opportunity for the Padres to build a little leeway.
By the way, this stat came across from, do you follow that Twitter account, the X account, Cespedes Family Barbecue? They just have a lot of funny baseball stuff and a lot of good baseball stats. This one came out of the Yankees series, and I do have a point relating this to the Rockies. Max Fried has thrown 327 sweepers in the big leagues. Just twice has a ball been hit with a projected distance of more than 350 feet versus Fried's sweeper pitch. Jackson Merrill in the first inning on Wednesday, Jackson Merrill in the 4th inning on Wednesday. The dude is built different. Jackson Merrill hitting a home run at Coors Field, the ball might go 500 feet. All right, with that, let's get to the big 3, Sammy. Let's hit that button. Let's get things going in hour number 2. Steve Hartman coming up in 14 minutes, 24 minutes. Math is hard, but Sammy, hit the button for the big 3.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
If you want to follow the show on X, it is at Fletch and Sammy. Find us there on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. We are streaming live on both those platforms every single day. A text coming in from the 615. Sammy, you should go all George Costanza and just announce the opposite of the picks of what your instinct tells you to do.
Oh,
that was because yesterday
that.
You went 0 for 4.
You know, my ringtone forever was I'm butchering. I'll play it for later, but when he's trying to avoid his girlfriend because he doesn't want him to break up with her before the big event of the Yankees
Salt
Saturday.
Stuff.
The George is not at home or whatever. Okay, I like that text though.
Big 3.
Number 1, Shohei Ohtani, per his agent, could have pursued a 15-year contract through age 44, but explained that the two-way superstar didn't want to risk a decline in his skills while under the big deal. Do we think that these large 10, 12, 15-year contracts that really happen in baseball is better for the player and the team?
No, hang on. Sammy, you are missing the point here. What did Shohei Ohtani say was the reason?
He could have had a 15-year contract, which would take him to 44.
But he didn't because
he didn't want to risk a decline in his skills while under the deal. That's what his agent said.
He didn't want to be locked into this contract for 15 years. He only wanted it 10 years so he could sign an even bigger contract after it's done.
Yeah, but
when he's 39.
But Ohtani's not signing a big contract at 39.
He'll sign a 5-year deal. And baseball money is going to continue to go up.
Shot.
Yes, shot.
No.
Baseball players can play until they're 45. Xander Bogaerts is signed until he's like 45.
This would have been I'm not saying he won't be playing, but in terms of looking at financially, if you're Shohei Ohtani, it's more cost effective to do a 15-year contract where he would have been making, $700 million contract. He would have been making what he made now. If they're not at age 39, 40. If he goes back to the Dodgers somewhere, they're not going to pay him $50 million a year.
I bet you they will. The money's going to continue to go up in baseball. Just like if he would have waited a couple years, he would have got an $800 million deal.
No, but this is something that needs to take notes. Xander Bogaerts. Xander Bogaerts signed the Padres to a...
Dude, he's playing good.
He's playing okay. I hate this narrative. He has a couple good games, and all of a sudden, everyone's like, he's back.
He had a good week. I'm not saying he's back.
He had a good week. He was the one who missed the 3-2 count.
He's finally playing well. Is
good. The Padres lost the game on Wednesday. Was it not due to Xander Bogaerts?
It was also due to Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr.
That's fine. But except we know Tatis produces.
In that moment.
Is there ever a question that Tatis is not going to come through in big moments?
No, but he didn't in that big moment.
Okay, that's fine, but we'll give him some lenience. Machado, we know, comes through in pretty big moments. There's some playoff question marks there, but at the end of the day, we know that Manny Machado is a baller. There's something to be said for not signing guys to these mega contracts. Look at Jackson Merrill. Now, Jackson Merrill,
Look, the Xander Bogaerts deal is a terrible deal. And I think a lot of people said that when it was signed, even if he played like he was playing when he was a Red Sox, it would still be a terrible deal because of how badly it would age. But at this point, if the dude has a good week, it's time to prop him up a little bit.
We were propping him up, but then he plays bad, and we're going to tell it like it is. Look at Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill is 22 years old. Signs a 5-year contract. He would have been in the Padres' best interest to sign him to a 10 or 12-year
contract.
Oh, not, excuse me, 9-year contract.
Cheap.
That's what but with the outs in the deal, it's really going to be shorter than that. Like, that makes sense because he's 22 years old. He's going to come up, when he's 31? 31 years old, right in the middle of his prime. Mookie Betts got a 10-year deal when he was 31 years old. So I think that there's something to be said for these long contracts that people should take a lesson from Ohtani in that regard.
Baseball contracts are dumb. I hate them so much. No one should sign a 10-year deal anywhere if you're a professional athlete.
Well, it's crazy, like, you can't get out of it. Like, if you're the Dodgers or the Yankees, you could just pay your way out if you can buy them out. But unfortunately for teams like the Padres, who are stuck with Xander Bogaerts, who, even though he has been playing better, he's not playing up to his contract. It's you can't get rid of it. I mean, the Padres don't have the money to literally buy Xander Bogaerts out of his deal.
All right, next.
All right, where do you want to go next? Here we go. Steelers GM, Pickens trade made sense for everyone. Do we think George Pickens feels like it made sense for everyone?
I think Pickens is happy with the new scenery. Yeah, I think Pickens is going to be happy with his Campbell Soup sponsorship that he's about to get. Look, it did actually work out pretty nicely for everyone. If the Cowboys get George Pickens as a top wide receiver like he can be, if they get a head case coming into town, it's a disaster. And then it works out really nicely for all the fans who hate the Cowboys. The Steelers got serious draft capital back. They moved essentially out of 2 of the later rounds, I think 5th and 7th. They moved up into 3rd and 4th. I believe that's right for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they got some serious draft capital that they are going to be able to go into next year's draft with some ammunition to potentially move up a few spots to get a quarterback that they want. It worked out for everybody right now.
It works out for Pickens in the sense of that Dak Prescott's an upgrade of whatever the hell is going to be at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean,
I hope it's Kirk Cousins. I really do.
That's still an upgrade. Dak Prescott's better than Kirk Cousins. Aaron Rodgers, we know, is washed. He can't play anymore. And if they're seriously going at Mason Rudolph or someone to try to tank for next year, that's what they're telling the team. I think in Pickens' regard, it works. In the Steelers, it makes sense if you weren't going to pay him. But I find it interesting that Tomlin made this come down. It wasn't like the owner going, hey, we're not going to pay Pickens. You need to trade him now. Mike Tomlin wanted him out of town, which could spell doom a little bit for the locker room. All right, number 3, LeBron says he doesn't, quote, lose sleep at night about him and Luka losing to the Timberwolves. Said it takes a team to win a championship. Do you have any problems with his comments?
Trying to think about this.
It takes a team to win a championship, and he, quote, doesn't lose any sleep at night.
So he's essentially saying it was him and Luka and nobody else, which is kind of what that series was. It was him and Luka and nobody else. Now, as the leader of a team, and when we have this conversation next about being a true one in the NBA, this is a terrible look for LeBron. I think that LeBron is past whatever the league was expecting him to be. He did that. He fulfilled his promises. He was the greatest player of a decade in the NBA. At this point, I'm almost getting to Aaron Rodgers territory with LeBron James, where I'm like, maybe it's just time to move on.
Okay, but LeBron James still produces, though. That's the problem.
So does Aaron Rodgers.
No, he doesn't. When was the last time Aaron Rodgers played at a high level?
Like 3 years ago.
3 years ago, exactly. But
he wasn't terrible for the Jets last year. He was coming off an Achilles.
Wasn't terrible. It's not worth $50 million. But LeBron James, it's an interesting comment because he's not wrong. I mean,
no, that's exactly what happened.
If you look at the series, it is what happened.
But it's not like LeBron played great.
I mean, he had 38 in the ones. The problem with LeBron is this: is he's getting paid like a max salary, and he can play like a max salary top player at times. So because of his age, he can't play the entire game. He can't play the entire season. You pay SGA all the money you pay SGA because he's playing 82 games a season. He's playing as every night that he can. Because of LeBron's body, it's not his fault. He's 40 years old. You can't expect him to play every single night, but when he's making that kind of salary, you need him to play every night because you aren't allowed to get the supporting cast that the Lakers need. AKA, you need better shooters. You need a center. Gabe Vincent did not come through in that series. Dorian Finney-Smith had moments. It was the supporting cast just was not there, and so it's kind of like he's talking on both sides of his mouth. It's like, I need more help on the team, but at the same time, are you going to take less money for that to happen? Because if LeBron didn't take $53 million and took $30 a year, the Lakers could go load this roster with talent on the bench and have kind of a Minnesota type situation. But So this is what makes those comments a little frustrating for me.
All right, if you've missed the running theme of the show today, Sammy's phone is not with him, which is freaking him out as a true Gen Zer. So I've been making jokes about it all day. Sammy's phone isn't missing. It just finally reached its breaking point after the 200th mirror selfie with 0 likes. Pretty sure your phone faked its own death just to avoid being seen with you in public. Your phone probably joined a support group for abused electronics. At this point,
I like that. Abused electronics.
At this point, losing your phone is the most personality you've ever had. Damn,
yo,
dude, this is getting mean. Sammy, I think you have a great personality.
Is that ChatGPT?
Yeah, it is. All right.
Dude, ChatGPT is mad.
Sammy's phone didn't get lost. It hit the eject button the moment he said, "Let's make a TikTok."
No, you're not going to catch me dead making a TikTok.
Your phone didn't.
That's Fletcher, by the way. Fletcher's the one that's doing dances in the hallway and everything.
No dances, but I do have a TikTok right now with like 1.5 million views. Pretty proud of that one.
Dude, you can like twirl around and get 2 million on TikTok.
Sammy, hate to tell. Well, yeah, if you're a good-looking lady, I don't know about me twirling around getting 2 million views on TikTok.
I think there's a market for you, Ben.
Sammy's losing his phone. Is the universe finally doing the rest of us a favor?
That's a cool way to end that.
It's San Diego Sports 760. We got Steve Hartman coming up in 15 minutes. He's going to talk some NBA playoffs with us, and who knows where the conversation leads with Steve. Talk about a dude addicted to his phone. Steve Hartman. That boy is addicted to his phone. But coming up next, what does it actually mean to be a number one in the NBA? And how many number ones are there in the NBA? We'll talk about it next. You're listening to San Diego Sports 760 on the free iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 right now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now and keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates do apply. You are listening to the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. We got Steve Hartman coming up in 10 minutes. If you missed that voice, he will be here rearing and ready to go. Also, SDFC back on the pitch tomorrow night. They got St. Louis SC on the road. You can hear it live right here on 760 beginning at 5 o'clock tomorrow night. Your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. All right, Sammy, you want to set the table on this one? Colin Cowherd brought this up a little earlier today, and I think it's a fun conversation. But what was the exact question that Colin was asking?
So it was, how many number one options are there in the NBA? People talk about in the NBA is does he qualify as a number one? Can you
be Michael Jordan was the number one?
But when I mean number one as well, obviously Michael Jordan was the number one. Can you be the number one on a championship winning team? Can you on a championship winning team? Can X player be the first option, the number one go-to? 3 seconds left in the ball game, they're getting the ball and win it. So I thought they were going through all of it. Colin said there was about 20. Paul Pierce said there's only about 6.
Okay, well, I'm going to go off the top of my head real quick and name my top 3 number ones in the NBA right now. Steph Curry, if you surround him with a team, he is still a number one, absolutely. LeBron James, I do not have on that list. I would have SGA absolutely on that list right now. He might do it this year. I would have Anthony Edwards on that list. He might do it this year. I would have Giannis Antetokounmpo on that list, Luka Doncic on that list. And that's when things start to get a little sketchy. Maybe Jalen Brunson is cracking that list. Kawhi Leonard is on that list-ish.
Kawhi Leonard is definitely off that list.
He's on that list-ish.
If he could stay healthy,
he might be where the cutoff line is.
I can't get 40 games from him a year.
I would kind of have Kawhi, Jason Tatum, and LeBron all sitting in the same area right now on that list, and they are just outside.
LeBron's not a number one option anymore. LeBron is the number 2 on the Lakers to Luka. I agree with everyone you said there. Luka and Shea, Jokic has to be on that list. Giannis, Jason Tatum. Is Jason Tatum?
He's just outside of number one status for me.
But he did win a title as the number one player. But some people will debate. Some people will go Jaylen Brown.
Dude, Al Horford was sick in that series.
Okay, he wasn't better than Jason
I know,
Tatum.
but he was sick.
Well, the team is fantastic. But Jaylen Brown won the Finals MVP. So you would say no, Jason Tatum is not a number one option.
No, because also the Celtics, that was such a garbage final series. It was so overmatched. Luka and the Mavs didn't have nearly enough to even come close to competing with the Celtics.
I'm going to say yes.
It's not their fault who they played against. Like, Jason Tatum still got them the championship, but I don't, if it was like a championship we're going to have this year, which I expect no matter who gets there, it's going to be a really, really good series, then it'd be a different story, I think.
But Jason Tatum before this, I mean, kind of lived in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, that team that I believe it was, I forgot what year it was, 2019, 2020, when LeBron got there and the Cavs team was terrible, but it was just him. And Jason Tatum was he was a first year, second year player and kind of had a breakout star. Tatum's interesting because we've seen him and Brown are co-stars. They're like 1A and 1B. So we never really seen them together. Would you say Tyrese Halliburton is a number one option?
He's on his way. He's not there yet. He's on his way, though. And this year could make a big difference in whether you consider him in that level or not.
Yeah, because if he goes and gets to a final, I think you'd have to put him there. What about John Morant?
John Morant is absolutely number one. That's the name I left off my list. He's more talented than pretty much everyone we just named.
Yeah,
he's just kind of a loose cannon.
You can't rely on it.
Speaking of Steve Hartman, he's a loose cannon.
He's a loose cannon.
But John Morant, if he can get mentally figured out over the next couple of years, you're talking about best player in the league. And I don't even think it's that close. Like, you watch him when he's just in pure basketball mode. He had this a couple times against the Warriors before he got hurt. When he's in pure basketball mode, he looks different from everybody else on the court.
He's athletically, but I mean, Zion is like that too.
Yeah, but Zion's a waste of time.
Zion's a waste, but when he plays, when Zion Williamson is on the floor, he's unbelievable. John Morant is the same way. I don't think John Morant being the face of your franchise is a problem because you don't know. This is not a joke.
Dude, Tiger was the face of golf. He was problematic.
Okay. Tiger was just getting into some extracurricular activities.
So was everybody else, by the way. Golfers notorious.
Exactly. John Morant is doing things that we like. Is he going to be playing next year? We don't know. I mean, can we rely on John Morant?
I kind of love the chaos of John Morant.
Joel Embiid.
No.
Yeah, he can't stay healthy.
Can't stay healthy.
Is Jimmy Butler still number one option?
He's teetering, but no, he's in the Kawhi category. And then let's keep going and get crazier. Let's throw out a Ben Simmons. Absolutely not.
Well, no. Ben Simmons is terrible. Ben Simmons is one of the biggest draft.
Did we talk about Giannis?
Giannis is 100%.
Did we talk about Jokic?
Jokic is the number one. I wonder if Jamal Murray could be. He's not the number one. He's the number two on that team. I wonder if Jamal Murray could be if he was by himself.
Maybe. Kyrie?
Not anymore. Well, we've seen that. He flamed out in Boston when it was his team. He's only been able to win when he was the number two to LeBron.
KD?
No, he can't.
D-Book?
Oh,
D-Book is close.
D-Book is right there. I'm gonna give Booker, if the Suns surrounded him with anything, maybe.
I mean, yeah. All right.
But we've seen the evolution before we get out of here of big threes. Big threes don't work. They don't. Kevin Durant and James Harden and Kyrie didn't work. Kevin Durant, Booker, and Bradley Beal was awful, but that doesn't work. The era of the big three doesn't work anymore. It's a big two with an excellent supporting cast and excellent defense.
And you got to have a bench too. That's what we're finding out in this postseason. You have to have a bench. Lakers no bench, problem.
Right. The Lakers thought that they had the star power, which they did over the Wolves, but we look how that turned out.
All right, San Diego Sports 760. Steve Hartman's going to be joining the show coming up next. Right now, we are giving away a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival. You're going to see Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, Billy String, Sierra Hull live at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on May 15th. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Caller number 7 right now, 877-767-4760. You are going to that show. Feel free. Enjoy it. Have fun. Coming up next on San Diego Sports 760 on the Fletch Zone, Steve Hartman joins the show live on the free iHeartRadio app. But first, download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch. Get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry today. The lineup we got going on, 3-pick lineup. Sammy Long created it. Donovan Mitchell, more than 28.5 points tonight. Benedict Mathurin, Ben Mathurin, 10.5 points more than tonight. And Jason Tatum, more than 27.5 points tonight. Download Prize Picks today. Use promo code Fletch. Get that $50 bonus. And throw a $20 entry on that. Why? Because today's a Flex Friday. You get a free $20 entry on a Flex Friday. So even if the lineup doesn't win, you are getting that $20 back in promo funds. Download Prize Picks today. Join the tens of millions of people playing already and the billions of dollars that have been awarded worldwide. No matter what your sport is, that was an all basketball lineup. Baseball, hockey, soccer, tennis, does not matter. If you got a sport, Prize Picks has options for you. Download the app today. Start creating lineups in as quick as 60 seconds. Use promo code Fletch. Get the $50 bonus and run your game all season long on Prize Picks.
This sport is sponsored by eBay. Padres back tonight with Randy Vasquez on the mound at 5:40 against the Colorado Rockies. They'll start a 3-game series. They are currently 6-31. And tonight in the NBA, the Cavs will be in Indiana at 4:30 on ESPN, taking on the Pacers. Pacers looking to go up 3-0 in the series and get that one. Darius Garland is questionable along with Evan Mobley. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like Whitey. This report is presented by eBay.
San Diego Sports 760 on a Friday. It's Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. Steve Hartman going to be jumping on the show in just a minute or so. But coming up in about 15 minutes, we're actually going to play you a 3-minute or so tribute to Tony Gwynn on Tony Gwynn's birthday, or at least what would have been gone far too soon from this town, from this earth. Tony Gwynn, Mr. Padre. Hopefully he is looking down on us with some fond eyes these days, as the Padres are playing some pretty good ball. Padres heading to Colorado next. They got 3 against the Colorado Rockies, and it's been a tough place for the Padres to play over the years. Doesn't matter which team's good, which team's bad. It's a little bit like San Diego State, Boise State football. There's been bad Aztecs teams to go into Boise State and win. There's been bad Boise State teams to come to San Diego and win. It feels like that's always the case in Colorado. But Padres, please, against a 6-win Rocky team here in 2025, one of the worst teams that's ever been put out on a baseball field, take care of business, win 3 games out in Colorado, and come back home to San Diego for a little bit of a homestand before hitting the road again. A text we got from the 619 after that last segment was John Morant is prime Russell Westbrook. More talented, though. Like, John Morant can shoot. John Morant is one of the most talented players on the earth right now. Hopefully his career does not go the way of Russell Westbrook. And 619 says, ask Steve Hartman what he ate on Tuesday night for dinner. I don't know exactly what this means, but that is where we'll start things with Steve Hartman today. Steve, what did you eat for Tuesday night dinner?
Well, it's a date night.
Oh.
And so, yes.
So steak.
You're asking me what I ate. Let's see.
Steak.
What did we have that
Steve,
night?
food.
Somehow, like the food part of the night sort of evaporated from my head. Let's see. What do we have?
Man, we're all trying to be Steve Hartman.
Yeah, it's we do the movie and then we eat and then we get to the date night portion of the evening. So I'm trying to remember and I know we had something good. I just can't
It's
remember
not
what it
important,
was.
Steve.
It's okay. You were busy. You had other things going on.
What movie were you watching? Maybe that'll help.
You know what? We did not actually go to the movie theater. We watched a movie. And by the way, if you've never seen this Hitchcock movie, it's one of the greatest movies, literally. Now, one of the greatest rated movies of all time. It's Vertigo. It was actually rated a few years ago as the greatest movie in history, all movies. And certainly rates in the top 10, but it is a phenomenal movie. So if you're looking for a little out of the box, and by the way, one of the great things about that movie was shot in the city of San Francisco, and you get to literally see what that city looked like in the late 50s. It's mind-boggling, but great Hitchcock movie.
Sounds good. Steve Hartman on the show with us today, San Diego Sports 760. Steve, when you think about Tony Gwynn, today is Tony's birthday, or would have been most over his career. I know you were down in San Diego for a lot of it.
Yeah, I did. And the thing that stands out to me about Tony's career with the Padres is loyalty. He had many opportunities in the free agent era to go elsewhere and decided that San Diego, of course, obviously he went to San Diego State where he was both a baseball and basketball star. But the fact that he remained loyal to San Diego and then got rewarded with that second trip to the World Series in 1998, 14 years after their first trip to the World Series, obviously the only 2 trips they've ever had to the World Series, really was so rewarding to watch him reap that award of getting another opportunity to play in the World Series. And that's what stood out. Obviously, one of the greatest hitters in the history of the game. His work ethic was second to none. It was only unfortunate that, he wasn't able to stay healthy. It's funny when he got to 3,000 hits. I was doing a little quick math, and I'm like, man, if he had the kind of health he had early in his career, he'd be approaching 4,000 hits. But he was just a class act. Absolutely, you could make the argument the most beloved sports figure in San Diego sports history, and just a guy that always had a smile on his face. So it was only good when you talk about the one and only the great Tony Gwynn.
That's pretty incredible, Steve. One of the greatest careers, and also still the all-time assist leader at San Diego State basketball. And was a hell of a baseball coach at San Diego State as well. Steve, switching over to the NBA postseason, you kind of look at what went down last night with Draymond Green. After the game, he has some strong quotes. I didn't actually think he should have gotten the technical for the play. He absolutely should have gotten the technical for the blow up right after the play. But when you look at Draymond Green and how he's talking after the game, like they want to paint me as the angry black man. But Draymond Green has kind of created this persona throughout his entire career by just playing like Draymond Green. And by the way, it's served him very well throughout his career, don't you think?
It has. I think back, of course, we remember the incredible 73 win Golden State team that got upset by Cleveland. And, of course, he got suspended for a game for his kick to the family jewels of LeBron James. It was interesting because I was doing a Saturday show with the great Olden Polonies, and we were talking about Draymond, and he, as a former NBA player, still thinks he shouldn't have gotten suspended for that play that he had on LeBron, which I thought was as blatant as could be. Look, everything about Draymond is under a microscope. And if you watch this play, did he deliberately throw his arm out and extend it? Absolutely. We know everything is with intent. We always say this about Draymond. You hate playing against a guy, but you would love to have him as a teammate. I thought it was impressive that, Steph grabbed him and said, dude, we're already down a man. Let's not be stupid and get you thrown out as well. But it could cost the Warriors. I mean, we really don't know the situation right now with Steph. So you saw the difference, like night and day when Steph's in that lineup. I thought Jimmy Butler should have been far more aggressive with his play. But you get what you get with Draymond. The bottom line is the guy's got 4 rings. So, his spot in the Hall of Fame, to me, is very similar to what it was with Dennis Rodman back in the way. A little different type of a game. Obviously, Rodman had all those rebounding records. Draymond's a better offensive player. But these are guys that are major contributors to championship teams. So, he knows he did wrong. I mean, he's always going to play the PR game. But, he should have been teed up, and he was lucky he wasn't thrown out.
Steve, who's in more trouble, the Celtics or the Cavs?
That's a great question. Look, they're both in trouble. Let's put it that way. I picked the Knicks to beat the Celtics on the show Sunday. That to me is less of a surprise. I just couldn't imagine Cleveland. I mean, obviously you're down a man, but I was like, they can't possibly lose back-to-back games at home to Indiana. I would say the Celtics are in deep trouble, though. They had the first game, they missed 45 3-point shots, most ever missed in any playoff game. Live by the 3, die by the 3. But everyone's like, they're a champion. I go, did you forget what they did the year before, losing to the 8th seed, Miami? Remember, they were down 3-0, tied it, had game 7 at home and lost. And I also say this about, Jason Tatum. I mean, Tatum's a great player. He is boring. And I don't put him in that elite class of the greatest players in the league. And we saw what happened at the end of game 2 against the Knicks. So I think the Knicks are in a prime position going back to Madison Square Garden. I know if they can finish them up there, but I just do not see how the Celtics are going to win 4 of the next 5 games with 3 of them in New York.
All right, Steve, at the beginning of the postseason, you said that OKC was going to run through the West, and certainly so far in their 2 matchups. It seems like you're right most nights, and then every once in a while, like the night against the Nuggets where Nuggets win game 1, it's like, does OKC really know how to play in close games? So do you still think...
I think obviously coming off, a non-competitive first round, similar to what happened to Cleveland, obviously, they were stale. It looked like it in game 1, and then they obviously came back in a big way in game 2. I think OKC is still in great shape right now, and because of the Steph situation with Golden State and Minnesota, I don't see any of the remaining teams in the West stopping OKC. I think when it's all said and done, the Thunder, a 68-win team this year, are in a prime position, especially if it's the Knicks on the other side.
No chance against OKC. So look, they're still learning how to navigate the postseason. They learned a valuable lesson in Game 1 at home against Denver. I mean, you can't play like that. You've got to bring the intensity, and they did that in Game 2. So I'm still riding with the Thunder.
Who do you think won the George Pickens trade, Pittsburgh or Dallas?
I'm sorry, what was that, Sam?
I said, who do you think won with George Pickens getting sent to Dallas from Pittsburgh? Did you like that move for Dallas, or did you think that was a little excessive?
I just don't consider that much of a trade, to be honest. I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on either team, to be honest with you. I just, most trades, and you guys know this, most trades really amount to nothing. It's funny though, every once in a while we get one of those so-called nothing trades, and it turns out to be a bonanza, usually for one team over the other. But no, I don't see that at least at this point of any major consequence.
All right, Steve, before we get out of here, Sammy Long lost his phone, and he's really lost today. He's been walking around like a lost puppy, just looking for his mama. And with his phone out, I would ask you, what would you be doing if you went 30, 45 minutes without your phone? Would that come as some sort of relief, or would you be like an anxiety-ridden little puppy who just came across the border from Tijuana looking for a new home?
First of all, it's happened to me multiple times. I haven't just lost my phone once. This is what happens when you are from my generation, where you didn't acquire this, like, we got to carry a phone with us all the time until later in life. But I was once at a gas station putting air in my tire. I put my phone down on the ground and then drove off. And by the time I realized, I left my phone, I went back on. Gone. Just gone. And then you start thinking about everything that's on your phone and all the backup and the phone numbers. And no, I would be like everybody else. I mean, everyone on this planet now is attached to their phones. I can't imagine. What did you do, Sammy?
Thank you, Uncle Steve.
Sammy.
No,
phone?
It bothered me because I left it at the gym or something. But then now I'm kind of sitting here thinking, like, it's kind of peaceful. It's nice that I'm not getting constant alerts. I'm just sitting here very present, very locked in with you guys.
Whoa. What about all the phone numbers in your phone?
I'm worried about the pictures on Sammy's phone, Steve. The earth is not ready for these to be unveiled.
I have lost some invaluable pictures on my phone. You always sit around, cloud, do backup and everything else, and you never think about it until it's too late. But no, I would be absolutely lost, except on one occasion, date night. I am not looking at my phone.
He's got other things
on date night.
He's locked in.
I am. My phone is on mute throughout my date night.
You got any big plans for this weekend, Steve?
Well, I'm doing TV tonight. I'll be at KTLA. I'm suddenly the weekend warrior at KTLA Channel 5. So you can see me on Sports Tonight and Saturday. I like Friday and Saturday nights. I'm doing that. I got the national shows. Martin White's going to be joining me tomorrow, and then another session with VJ Husky on Sunday. So very busy weekend, and we're going to try to make sense of these, especially the Eastern Conference. I mean, can the Cavs, can the Celtics turn it around? Like I said, I like the Knicks situation, but the Cavs never saw this coming.
And any advice for anyone out there who's stumbling around trying to find a Mother's Day present last second? You always tell me that is the most important day of the calendar.
You better show up for Mother's Day. Even after my divorce, there's one thing that my ex will always be, and that is the mother of my children. So I make sure that she gets properly appreciated with a very nice note. But yes, take care of your moms out there and future moms as well.
Sounds good, Steve. Truer words have never been spoken. Appreciate you a lot, man. Love you, Steve. You have a great day.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks so much.
There you go. Steve Hartman, the best in the business, maybe the GOAT of all talk radio across all the land. Steve Hartman. Appreciate chatting with him every week. You can catch him Fridays right here on San Diego Sports 760 at 1:30. Standing appointment with Steve Hartman. All right. Coming up next on San Diego Sports 760, we're going to close this thing out with a really, really great tribute that Kogo News put together to one Tony Gwynn, who today would have been his birthday. You'll hear that next on San Diego Sports 760 live on the free iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760 for a final time here today. It is the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you. If you missed anything, our Steve Hartman chat, entertaining as always, or the Tom Penn conversation, the CEO of SDFC, you can find it on the podcast on the free iHeartRadio app. Just search the Fletch Zone. 619, Sammy, what was the Donovan Mitchell pick, over or under?
Over. He has no help, and so I think 28.5. We're going to go over with that.
All right, before we get out of here today, it is Tony Gwynn's birthday. Obviously, much love and respect for Mr. Padre here. We read off some of his ridiculous stats earlier in the show today, and these are stats that will never be touched by anyone in modern-day Major League Baseball. But our Kogo News team back in 2014 put together a package about 3 minutes long, put together by Kevin Finnerty and Cliff Albert right after Tony passed away. It's really good, man. If you're ready for all the feels, Sammy, go ahead and hit that button. The package kind of celebrating Mr. Padre and the life that he lived here in San Diego.
And he was Mr. San Diego. He was Mr. Padre. He embodied the San Diego Padres organization. He could relate to everybody that walked through this turnstile to go see him play. You felt like you knew Tony, and you really didn't have a hard time rooting for someone like that.
Oh, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby! A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
Tony was great with the fans. He was great with the media. He was great with his teammates. He was great as a friend. He was a pleasure to work with in the booth. He always gave time to people, always signed an autograph. And to me, that's when I think of Tony, that's the way I'm going to think of him. He was the whole package.
He was just a better hitter than almost everybody who's ever lived. And he took it seriously. He loved it. And that joy kind of permeated through everything that he did. And I don't know anybody that didn't know Tony that doesn't consider themselves a little better person for it.
I'd like to thank my mom and dad for raising me the right way. And to my wife, Alicia, there is no way that I'm standing here being the player that I've been without a partner.
I'll tell you this, guys. When we went on a 7-day road trip or a 6-day road trip, he missed San Diego the day we left. And he was a homebody and wanted to always be back at home. And for anyone that probably played in that same uniform, you realized the importance of him playing in one uniform.
Tony, how would you like to be remembered by this community, by your family, by your friends?
This is a hard-working guy who was, pretty honest and had a lot of fun doing what he did. I think in my case, I'd probably be remembered as a hitter, as a guy with a bat in my hand. But more than that, I just want, people to respect what I've been able to do, how I've been able to go about doing it.
In the season cut short by a strike, 1994, he hit 394. Probably would have gone over 400 if the season wasn't cut short. 1995 hit 368 on the year. Didn't strike out until May 1st. That's incredibly stupid of a stat. 19 consecutive seasons hitting 300 or better. That's tied for the most in Major League Baseball history. From 1991 to 1995, he had more 4-hit games than multi-strikeout games. In his entire career, he never struck out more than 40 times in a single season. For comparison, Mike Trout has never struck out fewer than 100 times in a full season. Tony Gwynn, ridiculous on the field, even more ridiculous off the field. One of the best San Diegans to ever live. Celebrating him on his birthday today. Thank you, Mr. Padre, for everything you did.
Yes, sir, man. Gone way too soon, and just thank you for everything you've done for the city.
Hang a star on that one, baby. At this point, losing your phone, Sammy, is the most personality you've ever had. That was one of my favorite ones of the day. Sammy's phone didn't get lost. It hit the eject button the moment he said, let's make a TikTok. I like that one a lot, too.
That one doesn't resonate with me. I don't make TikToks.
If the phone could talk, it would have called, never mind. That's not good enough. That's actually couldn't be read. Your phone wasn't stolen. It ran away like it was escaping a hostage situation. Sammy's phone didn't get lost. It saw his text, remembered his voice, and swan dived into a storm drain. You think you're going to find your phone today?
Oh, I'll find my phone.
Where'd you last see it?
I last saw it at the gym, and then I drove home, and I think it must be there, but I don't really remember. So we'll go on a little scavenger hunt today. Go find it.
Well, best of luck to you, Sammy. Big weekend plans. You're going to the fight tomorrow night?
Well, the fight tomorrow night. Come say hi if you're going. Me and a couple friends. We're going to Navarrete and Suarez. Can't wait for that. And hopefully we get a Navarrete knockout.
Well, I get to spend the next 2.5 hours of my life in traffic.
What are you going to LA?
I got my niece's birthday party coming up at like 6 o'clock tonight that I have to be there for.
Ooh, how old's your niece?
She is turning, I want to say 8, but 7 could be the right answer.
So no booze there, unfortunately.
No, this is the house that will absolutely have booze. The nephew's birthday party I went to last weekend, no booze. Tonight, I think I'm staying in my
something we should get into
house
on Monday. Is it socially acceptable for parents to be having alcohol at kids' birthday parties?
Sure.
I think so as well, because you'll never find me at a kid's birthday party if it's just cake and popsicles.
What happens when it's your kid?
Well, hopefully they're not stealing my money.
All right. San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for being here this week. Biggest day yet on the stream. So we appreciate all of you.
682. Beat the record of 437. So shout out to you guys.
691 over here. So it's still growing. But thank you, everybody who found us at Fletch and Sammy on X, at San Diego Sports 760 on YouTube. Let's keep on growing this thing. And yes, I absolutely fell for the text of what did Steve ate on Tuesday. I should have known.
I can't believe you read that when you said it. I was like, you can't even. But shout out to everyone who tuned in. It means a lot.
All right. San Diego Sports 760. We'll be back with you on Monday. John and Jim next on the free iHeartRadio app.